All right. So I know y'all know something's up, right? I know you can feel it. I know I'm not the only one who can sniff that something's not cool going on. So as it stands in the year 2021, you can't just say what you want to say on social media anymore, unfortunately. You have to speak in code. Fine. The truth is the truth. The truth don't really need me to vouch for it. The truth vouches for itself. The facts vouch for themselves. So I'm coming to you today because I haven't spoken up in a while and I've had a lot on my mind and a lot on my heart. So I want to get a few things off my chest. This is war, y'all. We're in a war. And I wish there was a less scary way to put it, but this war is serious. And I believe that this has to do with the trajectory of mankind moving forward. I'm going to try not to speculate. I'm going to try to deal in metaphor in this video because I'm realizing that what it is I really want to say, I can't actually just come right out and say it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you a riddle. So riddle me this. Trust. It's a funny word, right? I trust God. I trust science. I trust my favorite television channel, right? Trust is funny because trust, as it seems, is really incumbent on the individual or the service relaying the message that's trustworthy or not. And so when it comes to trust, you often hear the word, I trust the science. Most often that phrase comes from people who simply haven't read the science. It's ironic as it seems. The only reason we're in this mess today is because the actual data is completely and utterly incongruent with the behavior, the action of the people who have been, in some cases, elected, and in other cases, very much not elected to be in charge of running the show. This is a hustle, you guys. They are playing everybody with the verbiage. Right now, we've been hearing the number 167 million doses, right? 167 million doses was the last number that I've heard. Now, I realize that, that's a misleading way to speak about this in general because in fact, all of the presently available American options are 2-dose. By speaking in doses, it allows for the perception of the proliferation to seem more widespread than it actually truly is, because I get the impression not as many people want this, and they know it. They know this. And deep down inside, you know this. Your gut is telling you something's off. Something's not right. This has not been right from the start. 2 weeks to slow the spread because homeboy over there ate a bat. Okay. That don't feel right, but sure. A year later, and here we are. Okay, so the time is getting shorter, and it makes me sad because the true enemy that I'm finding myself dealing with on a daily basis is fear. Not the government, not the politician, not the left, not the right, not that guy over there or this guy over here. It's fear. Fear of the unknown. More than anything, fear of the social pressure of not conforming to the social restructuring that's in process now and has been for a year. Absolutely nothing we have been told has been about our health. Let me repeat that and be very clear. Absolutely nothing we have been told has been in promotion of our health. And you know how I can say that with confidence? Because it didn't start with some guy eating a bat in China. This has been a systemic issue, especially in America, for a very long time. Television commercials, advertising pharmaceuticals. More money spent telling you about fast food and junk food and candies and cakes and pies and preservatives. The nutrition, true nutrition. It has been a complete misalignment of what constitutes real and actual health. And here we are in a mental, psychological, and at this point, almost biotechnical quagmire. Why? Because people trusted the science. So trust, okay? Trust is a funny thing. Trust is something you can place in an individual or in a sentient being, like your dog. I trust that my dog was going to bark every time the mailman come around, right? You can trust that. That's trustable. Inanimate objects are not trustworthy. I trust calculator. I trust remote. That makes no sense. I trust sticky note. It makes no sense. You can trust that a sticky note is efficient at jotting notes down. You can trust that a sticky note retains its stickiness when moved from location to location. But these are behaviors that you can apply trust to once you've actually proven that the sticky note is restickable. Not on this marketing tip, right? Blind faith that you can just, I trust sticky note. I trust science. Please, with that phrase, I trust the science. Please don't tell me you trust the science and you don't know the difference between a random controlled trial and a meta-analysis. Please don't tell me you trust the science. The issue, and I've said this in multiple videos, is a breakdown in the communication of the true science with a true, honest regulatory system in place. The three-letter agencies that we have in place to govern our safety and efficacy could not be a worse example of the fox guarding the henhouse in this type of situation. One of the very chief individuals in America responsible for regulating policy as it relates to epidemiology, in fact, the highest paid government official, personally co-funds one of the solution options. And I use solutions in entire air quotes because while it is some juice in a liquid solution, that's about the only applicable form of that word that I can apply to it. This is a trick. If your spiritual discernment and your radar center is not firing off, I don't know what to tell you. Now, I understand that a lot of people simply don't know what they don't know. And so for that reason, I aim to be respectful. And I do not aim to insult anyone. But if it's not clear to you by now that something's off, then I don't know what to tell you. All right, now, trust. I trust lamp. I trust lasagna. I trust R&B. Does any of that make sense? No. You can trust that an individual can deliver consistent R&B runs. You can trust that this lamp over here is a good quality lamp. You can trust individuals, but inanimate objects are not trustable or not. That it's a misapplied term. I trust the science, because what you're really saying is I trust that the science is being accurately explained to me. And I would like to just raise the question, at what point in history has the science been accurately explained to you? At what point in history did governments begin just telling the truth? At what point in history did men who sit at positions to execute national policy not execute it in their own personal, financial, and clandestine favor? The term conspiracy theory is going to be the death of a lot of y'all because they've weaponized that term. Most people who took an afternoon to look into it recognize that that was an invention of one of the alphabet soup agencies, the three-letter agencies that I don't even want to say, so that I can try to make sure that this message gets out to the most amount of people possible. They got y'all out here thinking that conspiracy theorists just sit around at home and like, I'm bored today. Let's just make up a bunch of stories of women having all kinds of crazy issues with their menstrual cycles and sprinkle that out on the internet. Because that's how it works. 18 like-minded idiots can just get together and make an entire phenomenon move on the internet. Does anybody know how this stuff works? Does anybody know how algorithm triggering in math works? Does anybody know? If you do, then you recognize that the only reason things trend is because there's something to it. Now, sometimes that's manufactured, and other times that's legitimate. And they would have you believe that fringe cults online, whatever in whatever form, can influence whole trends. Like there's some Branch Covidian sitting online somewhere that you can just click a few buttons in a few basements, and here we go. A whole lie being sprung up on the internet. A baseless conspiracy has taken wind, has took off online like a brush fire. That's not how this works. All of us speaking up are speaking up to our own detriment. I get a fair amount of validation for the things that I say, which is why I know what I'm talking about. But for the most part, when I do speak out about the most controversial subject matter, it doesn't feel good to do it. I'm a smart enough person to know that I'm saying something against popular opinion. That almost never, ever, ever feels good to be against popular opinion, no matter what the subject matter is. When I say the things that I'm saying, I'm presenting this to you as a Hail Mary in a way, so that you or somebody that you love can hopefully hear the sincerity in my voice. And I joke a lot in my videos, but this video, my heart is heavy, y'all. Heavy. People out here just lining up for this stuff. Don't even know why. I guess I'm again. Do y'all realize that this is unprecedented in human history? The present injections have never before been used in humans at a mass scale, much less a global scale. Ever. Are we sure we trust the science that's been presented by the snakes that will never speak to you in a way that I'm speaking to you? And here's the key difference. Everything I'm saying is about equipping you with the ability to make the best decision for your family. I am not here trying to convince anybody to think any sort of way. I'm being as sincere and honest and level-headed as I can to say, listen, we have to think for ourselves. Do not just take my word for the things that I'm saying. I have a list of resources in my bio and links that I've shared to back up many of the claims I've made in my other videos. This video, I'm not trying to make too many bold claims, because when you do, they don't let you say those things. They don't let you share those things, and they limit who gets to see those things, because the very same people in control of the algorithm also have a financially vested interest in making sure that you don't know the things that I'm talking about. And that's the big difference. I'm telling you, pay attention to everything that the mainstream media is saying. Well, not everything, but pay attention to what it is that they're saying up there on stage. Consider it. Look into it. Now then, consider the opposite point to that. Look into the counter argument and actually do your due diligence. Recognize where the money comes from in terms of who's writing what they're presenting to you. Everyone has an angle and everyone has a bias, even myself. My bias is to work against the mainstream narrative because I believe the mainstream narrative is dishonest. Like always, the mainstream narrative is driven by profit, like always, not health. I have nothing to gain. I do not get paid to sit here and talk to you guys in this way. I speak this way because I'm worried, not for myself, but for the world, my family, where things are headed, this country, the country where you live. They out here just pulling wool over eyes, snatching beanies down all the way over eyes, pulling toboggans over noggins. The lies, you guys. To trust the science is about as ridiculous as trusting a blade of grass, right? Trust the grass, like trust it in what way? When you have read the science and you understand the science, and that goes across the board, across nutrition, across environmental toxins and things like that, but most importantly, what you inject into your body. Let's not forget your GI tract, your gastrointestinal tract is from mouth to butthole, one intact tract, okay? It's designed that way so that in case you ingest poison, you can vomit or diarrhea or get it out one way or the other. When you bypass that either through insufflation through your nose or through your skin or eyes, your mucous membrane, or directly intramuscular, you're bypassing the most important defense system. And you're injecting what exactly? Are you really familiar with what? And are you really out here just trusting the people at their word when they talk about the ingredients? Keeping in mind that organic food had natural flavors in it. Only years later did we find out that natural flavors was an umbrella term for all kinds of chemical toxins. Same thing with fragrance. Oh, fragrance. Oh, just a simple ingredient, fragrance. Well, what's in fragrance? Well, hundreds of chemicals, half of which are cancerous. Well, why didn't you say that? Well, you're not going to buy our product if we say that. Do you really out here think that they're batting 100 and telling you the truth about everything and the implications of everything in these solutions? It's an honest question, because the only reason they might require these to travel would ever be viable is if you line up and get one. If you don't, then they won't, because they can't, because that's bad for business in general. Okay? That's economics 101. Capitalism, if you will, 101. But if you don't think that this government in America is up to no good, then I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. Yes, we've all had people who suffered and died at the hands of an upper respiratory disease. Is it more than 0.1% of your entire social circle? Statistically and literally, no, it's not. I know like 5 people out of 15,000 people who passed away. That's sad, but half the people I know who don't even think that their relatives really passed away from the thing that the death certificate said. But that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. Trust. I come to you very simply, and I say, consider what it is that I have to say, because all I'm saying is what these doctors over here are saying. These doctors, the ones that don't have a vested interest in ruining your life for a buck. What I'm saying is pay attention to them, and then use your God-given smarts to come to the conclusion as to what is up, because they are lying to us. This is on some Fahrenheit 451 right now, and they're censoring the truth harder than they've ever done it. Please pay attention before it's too late. I beg of you. I'm not trying to gaslight you. I'm not trying to tell you what to think. There's a crisis happening, and right now it's hidden, and soon it will be exposed. But I really hope it's not too late for people who still have the option to make informed decisions about what they inject in their body. Please inform yourself.